Mark, Tuesday night, a couple of days on from that now, how much of a relief was that full-time whistle? What was the atmosphere like when you came back into the changing rooms?
Yeah, good. Of course, when you've gone a while without getting a win, it is relief, because when you work so hard as a group, and like the work you put in, the frustration builds, and once you get over the line and get those 3 points, it is a relief, and it was a good change room after the game, and rightly so, because we worked really hard, and against a tough team. Anyone that was here and would see how many balls they put in your box and you have to defend, and we stood up to it, which was really pleasing.
Life as a football player and football manager isn't like any other job you'd work in normal circumstances. How do you as a manager tell your players to deal with times when they are tough and potentially the sidelines aren't necessarily on your side all the time, or there might be words coming from it which are difficult to hear?
Yeah, I think that's just life, isn't it? That's just like I spoke about the other night. Society is now about everything has to be now. You're not allowed to make mistakes, and you have to win. You have to win every game. But the message is always clear. You have to start with giving everything. And if you do that, and in the end, the ability comes through. But the other night, the effort was again more, and we were front foot for the whole game, and we had to stand up and be counted. And in adversity and dark times, you learn a lot about people. You certainly learn about yourself. As a manager, you learn about your players, and you learn which ones are going to stand up, pick the flag up and march forward, and which ones are going to maybe not do that. So in dark times, and the other night we had some warriors on the pitch that picked the flag up, marched straight through the middle, and we have to keep doing that.
One name I want to pick out was Frank, obviously, because he's had a frustrating season in terms of his goals and such. How happy were you to finally see him get one?
Delighted for him. He's a good pro. He doesn't miss a day's training. Always puts himself out there. And when you're a forward and you don't get that goal and you don't get the rewards that your play deserves, however you dress it up, it does play. It has to play on your mind. It's not a lack of confidence from Frank because he's a confident guy. It's a moment in time, and we all knew that has to end. And he led the line superbly well the other night, and that's what we need from Frank. Is that performance that he put out there the other night was, front foot, and he made the opposition defend the other night. But there was another 12 of them.
The football gods give and the football gods take away. You've struggled a bit with injuries and losses to the squad in recent days. Let's start off with Kofi. How much of a loss is it for him to be going back to Rovers?
Yeah, big loss for us, because he gives us that flexibility. He can play in a couple of different positions. He can play as a high midfield player. He can play as number 10. And people will say, but he wasn't play. But we forget he's just turned 18. And we have to be careful what kind of environment we put him in. But he got an awful lot of minutes with us. Bristol Rovers were delighted with his progression. So to lose players of his ability is a real disappointment. But it's good for him, because he's gone and played League One football the other night. And I don't think he'd have probably done that if he hadn't been having such a good time with us. And then we lose James Plant for the season with a really bad hamstring injury, which is not the same one he did before. It's the other one. Morgan Williams' hamstring. I have my own theories about why that is.
How frustrating is it? Because obviously last time I was here a couple of weeks ago, we were just talking about James coming back to the club. To lose a player of his ability for the season, how frustrating is that for you?
really frustrating because he's a top player for us. Unbelievable work ethic, goes past people, crosses it, playing different positions. Like I say, we haven't been able to train on grass properly for, I don't know, 3 months. Just train on a quagmire, and I'm sure that has an impact on the injuries we're picking up.
So you think potentially like training on and off of bad pitches and going to AstroTurfs it is having an impact on the players, in particular hamstrings?
Of course, it's not an excuse because we get on with it, but it's something we are trying to solve.
How far away is Morgan Williams from making a return, or is it still a way off?
Oh yeah, it'll be another 6 weeks.
Obviously, you just reeled off a list of a few names, and we've got the likes of like Aaron Jarvis, a bit more longer term as well. You always say you're looking out for more players to come in. Is that now something that has to be done, given the players you've lost in the last few days?
Well, we have to respect the players we've got. We got the other night. In the stand you had Jarv, Morgan, Sean McGurk, and Jacob Maddox. That would be in and around all of them being in and around the starting team. So all that does is put pressure on the boys that are having to play every week. But we have to try and get them fit as quick as we can. But there's probably only McGurk that will make the weekend, I would think. So we are a little bit short. And yeah, you're right. We're constantly looking to bring people in.
How far away is Maddox, would you say, at the moment?
We're not sure. He's got a little strain in his foot, we think. So I don't think he'll be fit for the weekend.
Looking ahead to the weekend, Maidenhead league table would tell you that they struggled at times this season, but their form recently has been really good. I mean, 3 wins in the last 5. They only defeating that time against Barnet. What have you made of them in recent weeks, and how tough a challenge will this Saturday be going to their place? Yeah,
they went to Hartlepool and got a point. They went to Oldham the other night and won. It just shows you, and I'm sure the Oldham fans will be screaming that they haven't beaten Maidenhead. It's a tough game because they've got some really big, physically big players. They play 5 really big defenders, and they've got 2 lads up front that are a threat in McCloskey and Tristan Abraham. So, same as every game. The other night we have to deal with untold balls in our box, which we head, clear, block. We have to do that again on Saturday. So, but the work rate and the endeavour has to be the same. That has to be the starting point, because the hardest thing in the world is to win a game of football takes some doing. You've got another 11 players that are trying to stop you. So the first thing you have to do is match whatever they bring, and we have to do that on Saturday.
And they've got a manager who's been there for an incredibly long time now, Alan Devonshire, 10 years at the club. How rare is that to hear in this day and age, that a manager's been able to stay in that one job for that level of time?
Well, I think he's a brilliant manager. I think he, wherever he's been, he's done a terrific job. I did love watching him as a kid. I thought he was a brilliant player. Yeah, he's done a great job at Maidenhead, because I'm sure their budget is not one of the biggest, and he produces a team every year that fight and stay in the league. So yeah, I think he's a really good manager.
Well, good luck for this Saturday.
Thank you.
Get the VIP treatment at Hewish Park. Enjoy a 2-course meal prepared by our own executive chef, a match day ticket, match programme, team sheet and allocated parking. You can even put your questions to manager Mark Cooper. Why not book online today?